I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago.
Hello everybody, Dave here for the next instalment of Dave Gives Shaftheadgrip, where we're going to make a start on the 9 iron, where I'm trying to really start on the last video, so that did show you a bit, but I just want to give a close up of the condition of this club. is done. It was a tough one, tougher than I expected it to be, but a couple of reasons for that. The gouge on the bottom, dealt with that no problem. There was a couple on the edge that were, and on the top, that were actually quite deep, so it took a long time to get them down. I could have taken it a little bit further, but I'm happy with how it's looking. The face isn't in too bad condition. There's a couple of actually notches on the face, but you can't really see them on there. Oh. Okay, let's see if I can. Okay, so there's one just here, another one a little below it, and there's one just over here. Now I could have tried sanding those through, but I'm actually concerned about how much of the face I'd end up taking off. Again, the club head looked good when we cleaned it with a brush. The paint was in good condition, but the groove, wasn't a lot of groove depth. So I had to re-groove it. I mean, I'm going to re-groove them anyway. So it doesn't look, just like the other clubs, it doesn't look great at the moment on the club face because the paint in the grooves makes it look a bit messy. But more and more I am thinking, yeah, we'll use the Nitro Moors on it. Although I may practice it on a scrap club, obviously one that's got paint on, because what I don't want to do is ruin the metal. Now it shouldn't ruin the metal, but you never know. And also I don't want to be, so like if I'm using a bit of paint on a paint stripper on there, I don't want to be getting it on the back. Now I haven't touched in the inner bits at all. I've not even cleaned them. And I'll come to do that at the end, to be honest. Now another problem I had was that I was using 240 grit sandpaper. So I'm just cleaning a little bit up here by the lettering on the shaft. Yeah, so I was using 240 grit sandpaper, but unfortunately I ran out. And with this club, with a couple of the nicks being a bit deeper, I decided to go with the 180 grit sandpaper, which did seem to work really well at getting through the material to get through the nicks. It did leave a little bit more scratch marks on there, so with the 180, if I went with a circular motion, it wasn't really clearing everything up. So I was using some of the older bits of 240, also the fine pad, which I think is about 220, I think, something like that. And then I was using the super fine, which is in the 300s, just to try and make sure I got rid of some of the scratch marks. But one of the things that I did think as well is I've got sandpaper that goes up into the thousands, like I think up to 5,000 grit. So what I'm probably going to do is, once I've got to the point where I've cleaned all these clubs up, perhaps before we do the painting bit, I don't know, maybe I could do it after I've stripped them, but we'll go over them with a much finer sandpaper, because the sandpaper is actually polishing these up, so the finer I go, the cleaner it will look. But I didn't want to go too bonkers on that at the moment. Oh, that's a bit of a stiff neck. So the next one is the 8 iron, which I've got to say is in bad shape. Okay, so The face looks awful. I think the face probably looks worse than the others so far. As I mentioned before though, as I take the paint off, it does reveal where there are nicks, because obviously the nicks are a little deeper. And the paint's sort of covering them up at the moment. From the look of it, the paint is a lot more damaged than the previous ones. How are the grooves? Okay, doesn't look like there's a whole lot of, well I was going to say doesn't look like there's a whole lot of damage on there, but I bet once I've sanded it off there is. But depth wise, yeah, they need to work. It's not just depth, it's the gap as well. But I mean, on the 9-iron, even with the narrow one of these, it wasn't staying in the groove, so that's a good sign that there isn't enough of a groove there. So yeah, not in the best of condition, this club, but we'll see what we can do once we've cleaned it up, and I'll do a side-by-side comparison once again. Ugh. So this is basically what the 9-iron looked like before, and this is what it looks like now. Let's try and get into a better position. So yeah, covering it up. I think it's fair to say that it looks better. It really does look better. I do like the back of those. I know I've said it on a few. But yeah, it's just a lot cleaner, a lot smarter, looks fresher. Struggling. And the faces, I mean the faces, there's no comparison there. Now, obviously, when these, or if and when these clubs ever get used, they will take more damage, they will get marked up, that's what happens. I mean, you use one in a bunker, it's going to get scratched. There's no avoiding that, but at least they'll look good in someone's bag. Right, so on the next video, we'll attack the 8-iron, and we'll see how we can make that look. But I gotta say, I do like the shininess of this now. I mean, I can get it more shiny, but I'm not putting the full effort in, which is a bit bad, but I want to get through them because they are going to get treated a bit more later on. Now, when it comes to doing the other set of clubs, if we get around to it, I will take one club as far as I can take it, to the point of it's ready for a bit of paint. I mean, I am tempted. Maybe that's what I should do. Maybe I could, because I've been mentioning about those clubs for a while. Maybe instead of doing this 8-iron, I should do I could do the other 8-iron. To show that, and we can see how that set will end up coming up. Because also, once I make a start on that set, I've got to take it off sale until I've done it up. But I'm hoping that once I've done it up, I can sell it for a bit more, because people are attracted to shiny things. Right, have a good one everybody. We'll see you on the next one.